Some hikers over the years have walked certain sections of these mountains on these old trails and seem to heard the sound of children around them with nobody there. But most claim they don't see anything. Hear something moving around in the brush. And suddenly hear sound of like children all around them. And sometimes catch the glimpse of some small person moving in the woods. Well, hello friends. I love to get out in these old mountains. Some of these trails are pretty hard, and I like to get off of them just a little bit and explore. But anyway, I hope y'all doing well. This is another little story of the unexplained. Yes, I like to share these stories. Our elders could sure tell them, and they could still be told today, but most people keep their secrets and their experiences to themselves because they don't want to be ridiculed or made fun of. And I don't blame them. Now, I've seen some strange things in these mountains and heard and experienced some strange things. But what I'm about to tell you is I've never experienced nothing like this. But a few have. Now on the Tennessee side of the Smokies, I've not heard any stories about this. But on the North Carolina side is where I've heard most of these stories. And I'm talking about little people. No, I'm not talking about just short people or midgets or dwarfs, whatever they call, just short people. I'm talking about little people. The Native Americans sure got a lot of stories on them, and they believed in them heavily. And I'll share with you some of the little stories about them, what they are, who they are, how they got here. Only the Native Americans know. And this has been passed down through them for generations. But a lot of the modern hikers travel this back country in these mountains, and they've experienced some strange things. Like little people, they could see the little head sticking out behind a tree or something running across the woods in front of them. And especially when they camp at night, they say they'd wake up in the morning and all their little camping supplies and backpacks would be unpacked, candy bars missing, something been going through them. Even little bitty footprints, like footprints of a kid or something, little bitty. Just stuff like that. But there are a lot of stories. Some claim it to be true, some are hard to believe, but you be the judge. These old mountains hold a lot of secrets. Most people will never see nothing in their lifetime, but a few does, when you least expect it. So, these mountains, they hold the unexplained. Now here's a map of all the great tribes, the Native Americans, and the lands that they occupied at one time across what is now called the United States of America. And some of these tribes are still thriving strong. Some are holding their own, and sadly, some of these tribes are all but extinct. And their history shall and will not be forgotten. Now, the stories of the little people are in different areas across North America, but the one I'm going to talk about is around the Great Smoky Mountains on the North Carolina side by the Cherokee. Now, these little people are about like Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and what I mean by just they're called cryptids. They can't be proven that they're there, and they haven't proven that they're not there. But these little people, here's a size chart. You can see. Bigfoot stands 8 to 10 foot tall. Man is 5 to 7 foot tall. Now, little people are 2 to 3 foot tall. They are little people. And there's all kinds of stories like this in different parts of this country. But right here, around the North Carolina side of the mountains, this is where the story is. They call them the Unexplained, if I pronounced it right. And these little people live deep into the mountains. Deep. They claim to live underground. But this is the stories that's been told. So many little stories that's been told, old and new, of trails in these mountains and experiences. Now, they claim to be 3 clans of the little people. The Dogwood clan, which is the good clan that's helpful and helps and guide your way and keep you safe in these mountains. And then the other clan, the second clan, is the Laurel clan, which are mischievous, like to play games and play tricks on you and lie and run around you and just have game. And the third clan is the Rock clan. This is the dark side of the little people. They are vengeful, spiteful, and if you show disrespect, they can cause you great harm. That's the 3 clans they claim of the little people. And there's all kinds of depictions of them over time, old drawings that the Native Americans have passed down, the Cherokee especially. And there's so many stories of them. Now, the Cherokee claim that they're an ancient race of people that's always been here. And their stories claim that they're never born and never died. Always a part of these mountains. Believe that or not. They're perfectly formed people, they're just real short. And they look like the Cherokee except a small version of them. And they claim to be an ancient people here before the Cherokee, they claim, that speak an ancient dialect of the Cherokee, which is, that language is extinct now, they claim. And the medicine man of the Cherokee, the chiefs, sought wisdom from the little people. Since they'd been here so long in these mountains, they knowed all the medicine. They would spend a week with the little people in these mountains, learning their secrets, their medicines, their cures, and their wisdom. And they'd take it back to their tribe. Now, they claim that if you show disrespect to these little people, especially the Rock clan, they could cause you to be lost and wander around aimlessly. They could control your mind, even cause you to do yourself harm. So whatever you do, don't show disrespect to none of these little people if you happen to be amongst them. But they are a good side to them too. And they say that the farmers, even of today, that had these rock walls and stuff on their farms would leave gaps in their walls so the little people could cross through. Just so many stories of these old legends. But are they true or are they myth? But you can't tell that to the Cherokee. Now they say that the little people not only can control your mind, but they control the animals too. Now this little story is a story of the little people of the Dogwood clan. They was a little girl about 7 or 8 years old, blackberry picking with her siblings, brothers and sisters, one late afternoon. And she seen a little rabbit, and she loved seeing it. She thought she'd follow it into the woods. Well, it wasn't long. She got turned around chasing that little rabbit, and she got turned around and got lost. No matter which way she was, she don't remember where she come in at or where she was at. And she just wandering around trying to find her way. Well, it started getting dark late in the evening, and she could hear it thundering in the background, a storm rolling in, and she seen a big old hollow tree here. So she thought she'd take refuge in it while this storm was coming. Well, it was a good summer afternoon thunderstorm. But she was dry, but she was tired and worried. She couldn't find her way home. She didn't know where she was at. And she was getting hungry. So she was eating out of a little bucket of berries that she'd picked. And it wasn't long, she fell fast asleep. Next morning, she could hear birds singing outside, having a good time, and wondering what's she going to do. What's she going to do? How's she going to find her way out of here? She knows her parents was worried about her. Well, a little bit later, she happened to hear something outside and peeked out, and there was a little doe, little deer, a fawn, and a little person with her. So she stuck her head out. They never said anything. They just looked at her. The little person looked like a little girl, she said, and they just turned and walked away. So she thought she'd just follow them. They'd stop and look back, but she never could catch up to them. But after a couple hours, they brought her right to the field and right where she came in at, hunting them blackberries. So they let her out of there. That was the story she told her parents after they reunited there. Well, that was a story of the good people, the Dogwood clan. Now this other story, this is a story of the dark side of the little people, the Rock clan. Now this young teenager boy wasn't working on a farm across from his farm all day long cutting backer. Well, he thought he'd go home and take a shortcut across the ridge. And it was getting late in the evening. He was wore out. He's going across the ridge. He had to come by a little rock here, a little pass. And he just stopped because something didn't feel right. Taking a break and resting anyway. And a little person appeared right behind the rock. And that surprised him. Well, this little person said, "You cannot come this way." And wanted to know why, because we're here at this time. We're here today. You can't come this way. Well, that boy got mad. He picked up a rock, said, "Nobody's going to stop me from going this way. I've been down through here a lot of times." So he throwed a rock at him, the little person, and hit him. The little person just disappeared. So he just run on home across the ridge, wondering what in the world he's seen. And he started feeling bad. Time he got home, it was late in the evening. He didn't feel good. He was feeling awful bad. He thought, well, maybe he's just hungry. Well, he got in the house and told his mom what happened and everything. And she got kind of puzzled about it and didn't think much of it. Well, he ate dinner. And when his dad come in, they sitting there eating dinner, he told the story to the whole family. Of course, the brothers and sisters just laughed at him. And Dad just nodded his head. Well, he was tired and he didn't feel good at all. So he went up, he got in the bed before anybody. He was tired and he really felt sick. Well, he was fast asleep. Well, up into the night, the parents heard the kids up there hollering and screaming. They run up there, and that boy had opened that window and climbed out on the roof of that house and was fixing to jump off before his dad got him, grabbed him, and he told him that he didn't know what happened. He just had a bad dream, and then he was dreaming about he was going to go swimming. He was going to jump off a rock into the pond. But really, he was going to jump off the house onto the ground. So these little people had put a trance on him. Well, the next morning, he heard the story from his grandmother about the little people. So he went down to the store and got all the candy that he could afford. And brought a big apple too, and took it to the rock and set it on the rock. And he just turned to the woods and apologized for what he'd done. And he just stepped away and went home. But after that, everything went back to normal. He had no more bad dreams, and he felt so much better. So evidently, he'd witnessed the rock clan. Now, like this, and Bigfoot, and other cryptids across America, here's a chart of all the sightings of different strange things across this country. Too many sightings not to be some truth to it, wouldn't you say? Now, I travel these old woods, and I'm kind of getting of age. I don't need to be by myself, but I still get out in these old woods. And it's so easy to get lost if you don't know where you're at or the terrain. But you never know. I sit in these old woods and I hear some strange things. Even think I hear people talking sometimes. But I have heard my name called metal detecting. You never know. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little video. Just another unexplained in these old mountains. These mountains are full of things like that. But no matter true or false, I'll never stay out of these mountains as long as I got a breath in me and able, the good Lord lets me get in them. Because I love to be in the mountains. It's just in my blood, and it always will be. So I want to thank you for watching. God bless. Take care, and I'll see you next time.